Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Sox on Tap.
Tony, my first reaction is just fuck yes, let's go.
Sox versus the Twins. That's where it all starts. Because it all starts taking care of business in-house in the Central Division.
That's right, I'm a meatball.
You got to bring that top button swag, baby.
It is always great to beat the Cubs.
And I'm a homer, so I always say they're gonna.
Dallas Keuchel Lansing got some beards that you should be afraid of.
What everybody said when he gets out there, it's me versus the other guy, and I'm going to beat him. So I just love that mentality. It's cool and fucking tough.
Steve, would you say that Tony is mad online?
I would definitely say that.
The White Sox winner.
Hello, White Sox fans. It's Tony Marchese. Tonight, I am joined by my guy, Iowa Zach. It is his Sox on Tap debut. What a way to celebrate it, Zach. White Sox close it out. They hang on tight. They get through one. It's Friday night. We're cracking beers. I'm feeling a little patriotic. How are you doing, my friend?
Man, I am awesome. Yeah, what a game. What a night for me to come on for the first time. I tweeted a little bit ago. I'm still a little bit puckered up from that one. None of these are easy, it feels like, anymore. But, man, what a game. White Sox winner. Tony, you look fly. Very patriotic. I'm happy to be here, man. This is awesome.
Yeah, you look like you're I don't know. Are you nervous about this one, Zach? I mean, we've got a lot to talk about. It's Friday night. You've been drinking a few. You've been preparing for this all day because I talked to you about it this morning. How do you really how are you feeling?
Yeah, it's crazy.
And you look fly too. You look fly too. You've got the On Tap Sportsnet shirt on, the Sox hat. You're down in your basement bar. It's a good night.
Yep. No, I mean, long before I was a member of On Tap, I was a fan, man. I've been a fan of On Tap for a long time, and I had the opportunity to join you guys this last March. It's been some of the best times in my life, man. It's been a ride. And so to actually be here with you, and it's dope. I can't say it enough. It's an honor to be here, man. I appreciate it. So a little nervous. Yeah, sure. I got, big shoes to fill, man. You got some of the most knowledgeable Sox guys on Twitter that usually host this show. And somehow you brought this guy in. So.
Hey, no. You're no slouch. You're no slouch there, Zach. Don't give yourself some credit. You've been on the mic before. But before we get any farther, Zach, I've got some promotion to do. Grandstand is where you should be buying your White Sox gear from. I don't know if you've ever been there, Zach.
I have. I got this hat at Grandstand.
There you go. You got that hat at Grandstand. You can get all of your White Sox merchandise over at Grandstand. Our guys were there tonight, Johnny. NWI Steve and Buzz took in the game tonight. They were there together. They went on a date, and they started at Grandstand. Then they went to Buffalo Wings and Rings. Have you frequented that establishment?
I have.
There you go. It was like a South Side date night for Steve and Buzz. It was great. I'm glad they got to go witness a White Sox winner. But again, be sure you're going to Grandstand for all of your White Sox gear. Zach, I'm feeling fantastic. As Johnny and I would say, I'm feeling delicious after that White Sox win. So I see we've got Jason Hosking in here, and he's asking, who's this fucking guy? That's Iowa Zach, who's with us. And you can find him at ontapsportsnet.com, which is the website that we frequently write about all of your Chicago sports literature needs on there. And Zach has been doing some gambling stuff, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But for the White Sox, it was a big win tonight, Zach. It was a big, big win because Oakland was a little sketchy for my liking. Let's just set the table here a little bit for this White Sox winner. Oakland was a little sketchy, wouldn't you say?
I would. The recent road struggles the Sox have been going through, they were on display in Oakland. A lot of just sketchy baseball being played, and the Kansas series before that too. I mean, it's been a little bit of a rough stretch. So this was a much needed win for our Sox, for sure.
Absolutely was, and you got a familiar face of the White Sox starting rotation back on the mound today, and that's Carlos Rodon. He looked fucking excellent, in my opinion, Zach. He looked absolutely fucking excellent. I know that the injuries have concerned me just a little bit, but Carlos Rodon did a really good job tonight of making me a little more comfortable that he can continue this. I was talking to our guy Johnny the other day, and I looked at Carlos Rodon's career stats, and he's almost, and I think he might actually be after tonight, over his career high innings pitched in an MLB season. And that to me is just a little bit scary because you look at what's ahead for the White Sox. You've got about a month left of baseball to play, a little bit under that. That's guaranteed. And then if you're going to make a run, you got about 2 months left of baseball to play.
Right.
So you're going to need to rely on Carlos Rodon just a little bit more. And I was worried that, hey, maybe that gas tank's empty. Did not look empty tonight at all. Just tell me how you're feeling about Carlos Rodon right now and just this season that he's had.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't have asked for more from the guy tonight. I mean, he's coming off 9 days of rest, and you're right. The injuries have been concerning, and he comes out and he's just lights out. I mean, the guy had control like we haven't seen, man. He was painting the corners all night. He came out, he goes 1, 2, 3 in the first 2 innings, just making guys look foolish up there. His spots were on. I think you talk about his injury history and being a little nervous. And I think, you can tell TLR is playing that safe as well. I mean, Rodon was flying high, but 5 innings, I think he was at like 79, 80 pitches at that point. You saw that velocity start to dip a little bit and Tony pulled him. And that's probably the right thing to do on this guy coming back from an injury, but you couldn't have asked for more from Rodon tonight. I mean, he got touched up the one time, but he left one hang and he paid for it, but it was a no doubter. And that was all there was. I mean, he was lights out. And if that guy does that in the playoffs, it's a very, very good situation for our Sox.
Yeah, 5 innings pitched for Carlos Rodon, only ends up giving up 1 run, and that's off the long ball there. 7 strikeouts in 5 innings. That's pretty damn cool and tough, in my opinion, Zach. Only giving up the 3 hits to a fairly potent Red Sox lineup. For as much talk as there's been on the Twitter.com about the White Sox not playing good teams well, I think you can kind of dispel that at home a little bit from what we've seen in the second half. And a guy like Carlos Rodon coming back out there, I had my questions about Carlos Rodon coming into the season. I had my questions about Carlos Rodon tonight. He answered them. Only gives up 3 hits in 5 innings of baseball. Obviously, you'd love to see him go a little bit longer, but I thought that was a good start from him.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And you talk about Boston. I mean, this is a good team. That middle of the lineup is fucking scary. And not only that, but they are playing for their lives right now. I mean, that wild card race is as tight as it can be. I mean, any one of those guys, any one of those teams has a shot at it. So I was nervous coming into the night after those last 2 series, and then I was happily proven wrong.
Hey, we love being proven wrong on this show. We love being proven wrong whenever we go after somebody. Hey, sometimes I will go after a guy just to be proven wrong because I want him to succeed. That's just the motto around here. All right, let's get into how this game went down just a little bit, Zach. The White Sox come out in the first few innings, I should say the first 2 innings, and are unable to scratch anything across. And I felt like we were going to witness the same thing we saw in Oakland. A lot of ground balls, not a lot of excitement, so to speak. Were you feeling the same way I was?
I was that first time through the lineup, I was pretty nervous. You could tell that they were just not seeing the ball out of a Hawk's hand. I mean, there was no hard contact. when I watch baseball, I love to have Baseball Savant up on the screen so I could see, the exit velocities and stuff. There wasn't a ball approaching 100 for that first inning and a half. I mean, it was. I thought it was going to be rough, but them coming back and adjusting and finding the ball out of the guy's hand. I mean, that's what I was most happy tonight. I mean, Rodon was great, but our hitters adjusting and finding ways to make contact through that second time to the lineup was awesome.
Yeah, and that's how they got the job done. Third inning, Zach, is where they were able to break this open, and this comes off the bat of our guy, the MVP shit, Jose Abreu, drives a ball. This was a line drive, man. Like, I didn't exactly expect this to be a home run off the bat. I don't know how you thought about it. I thought that this thing was probably going to hit the wall because it wasn't one of those towering, massive Jose Abreu home runs. Right. It was more or less just a frozen rope straight to left field to drive in 3 runs and get the Sox on top. And as our guy NWI Steve says, ball go far, team go far. It was good to see Jose Abreu do this in September because, he's Mr. August. This was good. This was good to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And 17 degrees. That was the launch angle on that ball. 107.9 miles per hour off the bat, 17 degrees. It was a piss missile. I mean, that thing was on a rope. I didn't think it was going out. I thought hard. I
didn't think it was going out, Zach. And I have this problem, when I'm behind a tree on the golf course and I've got the green right in front of me and I bring out the pitching wedge and I'm like, this thing's going straight into the branches. This made me mad because I faced this situation a few times on the golf course the other day. I don't know if you ever have. I know you're an avid golfer, and you write some good golf articles over on OnTap Sportsnet if you're looking to bet on golf. So I wanted to bring this one up to you. When you're faced with that situation, like that's what you want. You want that little line drive out of that space. You got about 100 yards. That's what I was envious of with that Jose Abreu home run. Have you ever been faced with that situation on the golf course, Zach? And how do you deal with it?
Yeah, every time I'm out, I mean, I seem to play golf in a zigzag, shape. So yeah, I'm always trying to punch it out below trees. I'm usually grabbing a 7-6 iron, trying to punch it out low. My follow through is usually higher than I want, and I'm still fucking up in the tree, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, you're spot on. Great analogy there.
That's how I looked at that. I don't know if it's maybe just some recent experiences on the golf course where I could not execute a certain shot, or if it's more or less just the fact that I'm jealous that Jose Abreu can take a half swing inside and put a ball almost 400 feet into the stands. Somewhere to be seen in between that. But it's just great to see Jose Abreu come alive here and just mash a baseball. And I thought he looked good all night. After that, the Sox were able to scratch another run across in the 4th inning. And that was, Gavin Sheets kind of gets the party started here. And he's my guy. I don't know if you know that, Zach. I don't know if you know that Gavin Sheets is my guy.
I do, and you're winning me over, Tony. For the listeners who didn't catch it, Tony wrote an excellent article the other day. Somewhat satirical at times. It had me laughing. Had kind of some horrible flashbacks of some of the left-handed power bats we've tried to incorporate over the years. But excellent article on Gavin Sheets and why he should be in the playoff roster. And I agree. He's winning me over.
Gavin Sheets won me over the minute that he hit his first career home run in front of me. And you know what? That's somewhat of a disservice to Jake Berger because he's done the same thing. So I'll probably get on the Jake Berger train as long as, he winds up here on the White Sox, active roster. But the last player, Zach, if you don't know, that I saw hit their first major league career home run was Dion Viciedo. I'm still attached.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's a good precedent or a bad one, for Gavin Sheets' career. But either way, I think he's done fantastic this year. He's probably your most under the radar guy. I appreciate the sentiment. If you want to find that article on tapsportsnet.com, go to our White Sox section, and you can find why I think Gavin Sheets should be on the playoff roster. But Gavin Sheets gets the party started. He hits a hard ground ball to second base. Obviously, he was shifted on this hard enough hit to get on base there. Beats the throw out to first. And, you move it across the line. White Sox are able to scratch one across the plate, and they take a 4-0 lead. The Red Sox were able to answer that quite quickly. There's your first run for the Red Sox, and that comes via the home run there, the only run that was scored on Carlos Rodon. Zach, one thing that I'm looking at in this box score right now is the fact that the White Sox used 7 pitchers in this ball game. Did not expect that at that point in the 5th inning.
Yeah, me either. It's one of those. It seems like with this team, there's always one cylinder that's just not firing, right? So tonight you had Rodon, our starting pitching was on fire. The bats seemed to find their way again, and then you had the bullpen. It was a bit frustrating. Who'd they bring in first? Kopech. Kopech came in, and I think he got a couple strikeouts and had a walk and a single. And at that point, you're looking at the tying run being at the plate. Pulled in Bummer to pair. There was sketchiness across the bullpen tonight.
There was some sketchiness across the bullpen. I mean, when I was looking at titling this episode, one of the things that I wanted to go with was a bullpen who's who, because it felt like you just threw everybody. And I've talked about it on this show a few times. You've got bullpen A squad and you've got bullpen B squad. There's the guys that Tony La Russa goes to when he wants to win a game, or the Sox are in a position to win a ball game. And then there's the guys that Tony La Russa goes to when things are a little bit out of hand, either in the White Sox favor or not in the White Sox favor. And I think that tonight is a perfect example to break down who is in the White Sox bullpen A squad and who is in the White Sox bullpen B squad. Everybody from A squad was here tonight.
Yeah. Michael
Kopech, Aaron Bummer, Ryan Tepera, Garrett Crochet, Craig Kimbrell, and Liam Hendricks. That is your bullpen A squad. Now, obviously, you don't want all of these guys throwing in the same ball game every single night. That's just not realistic. However, I look at this game as sort of a playoff game, sort of your test. Carlos Rodon could get thrown out there in October, and he might only make it 5 innings. But you need to win this ball game. Who are you going to? Those are the exact guys that I would line up, Zach. And I know that there were some issues around some certain things. However, I cannot find a single argument as to why those guys were not pitching in this ball game. Obviously, the result is a 1-run win over the Boston Red Sox, but October is going to be scary. Yeah. This game, to me, outside of Tim Anderson being in the lineup, was a pretty clear indicator of how Tony La Russa is going to manage in October. And I think that that's very important because the White Sox came out on top on this one.
Yep. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. I agree with everything you said. I mean, this is your October bullpen. And tonight felt oddly like an October game, right? And I think a lot of that was sort of playing off the energy from Boston, right? Boston, every game's an October game for them right now, right? And La Russa went out tonight. He wanted to win this game against this tough team, and they did it. Yeah, there were some hiccups. I think the bigger problem, Tony, and you're starting to feel like a little bit of a broken record, but Another 21 runners left on base tonight.
Yeah, you know what? I was gonna try and stay away from it, but you brought it up. That's a big problem for the White Sox is leaving runners on base. And I said it the other night. It's a problem for most baseball teams. Leaving runners on base. I've scrolled through enough Twitter to know that this is a common thing for most fan bases to complain about. However, tonight was almost unacceptable with some of the guys who were there. And if we lost this game, that is exactly what you and I would be talking about, is the fact that you had multiple bases loaded situations where you're like just not able to execute. You had not even that, like the Jose Abreu bases loaded. I know there's 2 outs, unable to execute. There is a point in this ball game where that could have been a difference maker. And that's kind of where I go to. You had bullpen A squad tonight, and they were able to get the job done, so everything's all hunky-dory. But I'll play to your sentiment, Zach. It's your debut. Take it away. How is that going to play in October?
It won't, right? I mean, you're going to have these series, right? So there may be a slight room for error, but I don't think there's going to be much, right? I think you have to clean this up. You have to take advantage of some of these situations. You're not going to get everyone, right? It's going to happen. But 21 left on base with all those opportunities, and yeah, I know the Jose Abreu won 2 outs, but you got to capitalize. There, on top of that, a couple defensive blunders tonight that were off, and that stuff's not going to fly in October either, right? Grandal, that throw to second on the steal, I don't know what the fuck that was. Hit Cesar in the knee and bounced off. Sent their guy to third. You had another bobble by Cesar at second. I mean, you can't give them extra outs either, right? So the runners left on base, couple defensive blunders, that stuff's not going to fly in October. That's what needs to be cleaned up in this last month, in my opinion.
You're talking some fundamental stuff that you've seen some judgmental lapses here with this ball club, and I think that happens with most. But overall, I think the sentiment is you need to drive in runs when you have the opportunities to. No matter if it's 1 out, 2 out situations, you have your MVP at the plate. Just you got to find a way to get one more.
Yeah.
One more over and over and over again throughout the ball game. I mean, you saw some opportunities early in this game to break it wide open, and that wasn't able to get done. I think what frustrates me the most with this offense is exactly that. There's been so many times throughout this year where there's been an opportunity for the White Sox to break a game open, and they've been unable to execute. You could have the best run differential in the major leagues right now if you're the White Sox, if you have a few things go just a little bit different. And that's just so frustrating to me.
Yep.
But
Agreed.
it is also what it is. Like, it's baseball. Like 3 out of 10 is considered highly successful in today's day and age. I don't know where you line up on that. It's kind of hard to say, I'm going to give you 7 and I'm going to take 3.
Give me 7.
You want the 7?
No,
Who's hitting
what
700?
What are you asking? No, I'm sorry. What are you
I'm
asking?
saying, it's runners in scoring position, 2 outs.
Right.
It's really hard for me, at least personally, to say who's going to hit, 900 in this situation.
Yeah. Spot on. No, absolutely.
So what are you going to do with that? If you're telling me that, 2.5 out of 10, you're successful, and it doesn't even have to, be runners in scoring position. And that, you're 250 hitter in the major leagues at this point in time. I mean, you're keeping your job.
Yeah, absolutely.
So for us at home, you've got to expect, if the situation comes up where Jose Abreu is hitting in a situation where you've got 2 outs and the bases are loaded, 7.5 times he's gonna get out. And that's 7.5 times where I'm going to chug a whole nother Budweiser in between innings. That's just what I have to accept.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at with it. Is like, okay, so yeah, he's got to be clutch, but does he?
I mean, he was tonight, right? I mean, even with the runners in scoring position stuff aside, I mean, he was clutch tonight. I mean, it's easy for us to say, right? We won the game, right? You just, at this point, you're looking for what you can clean up in the last month of baseball to set yourself up for the best possible path through October, right? So at this point, it was a good game overall. It was good. We won. But you're just looking for things right now that we can clean up. And to me, that's the glaring thing. And, it is common across baseball, Tony, but the Sox are at or near the top, especially in the AL. I was looking it up. I don't have it on hand now, but they were second or third in the AL in runners left on base. So, yes, it's a problem across the board, but it's a bigger problem for this team than many other teams.
I'm glad you told me that. I'm also mad you told me that. I might not sleep tonight after you told me that. It's just such a problem. It's been such a problem all year. I feel like this team, we don't know where the win total is going to end up. But if everything went right for them, if execution was there every single time they had runners in scoring position, just be the best baseball team ever.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And we're dealing with a little bit of shell shock too, because honestly, a 4-0 lead you should be pretty comfortable with that, right? But
for
some reason, we've seen so many times this season where what happened tonight happened.
Yep.
Right,
yep,
going into
exactly.
That's where this bullpen on paper was the best bullpen in baseball on paper, right? It just hasn't panned out, and so we're dealing with this shell shock where it's like, I don't feel comfortable unless we're up by 10.
I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. And what's really funny too about the whole situation is that if we're up by 5, I don't feel secure. If we're down by 5, I still feel like even if there's 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th, this offense has the ability to come back. Yeah. So as a White Sox fan, for the first time in what feels like forever, I'm invested in every single pitch that's thrown to a White Sox hitter, and I'm invested in every single pitch up until the last out of every single ball game, because I don't think that anything is ever really over. And that's the cool thing about baseball. There's no time clock. Nothing's going to expire. But the lineup has the ability to score 6 runs with 2 outs. They just do.
Up and down. I mean, and I love this team, how guys get almost complimentary hot. Like they get hot at different times. I mean, right now, Luis Garcia's before tonight, he was on a 7-game hitting streak. I mean, he was stroking it at this point. I mean, Grandal's been crazy since coming off the IL. I mean, up and down this lineup, there's threats. It's a fucking beautiful thing, Tony. We should feel really good right now. We're splitting hairs, right? We're finding things to try to clean up. I will say though, had Cesar Hernandez not made that amazing play in the 9th, we may be having a lot different conversation here.
We could be, and you know what? I'm glad you give that segue. You get into the 9th inning here. And, another tense ball game because it's close. You've got Liam Hendriks on the mound. He's obviously still been the guy since the trade deadline. And I know that there's been, talk about the back end of the bullpen. And, I'm guilty of it too. Is Craig Kimbrell the guy? Is Liam Hendriks the guy? I think it's been Hendriks' bullpen.
Yeah.
This entire time, there's been some hiccups. I mean, obviously, I was there in Iowa, out in your home state, to witness some hiccups. But, I think he's done a good enough job thus far. I'm not going to go full Kenwo and say that, cocked hats are for closers. I'm wearing the cowboy hat tonight. Can't cock that one. Just, it doesn't work. But, Zach, I think Liam Hendriks has been probably one of the most stable, and that's saying something about the bullpen because he's had his issues too.
Yeah.
I don't want to elaborate much more on that, but you get him in the ninth inning tonight, and just does the job. He does the job, and he does it well. Pitches 1 inning, only gives up 1 hit, doesn't give up any runs, gets out of trouble. White Sox close it down. Kimbrell did an excellent job of working the 8th inning. I know he did walk 1, but does strike out 2.
And that was sorry to cut you off, but
go ahead.
Critical to note, man, when Kimbrell came into that game, he was facing the 3, 4, 5 guys, right? And he walked ahead here. He walked Xander Bogaerts, but he struck out Renfroe and Dahlbeck. I mean, Kimbrell locked down the 8th, and he was solid.
So that's where I want to go to you with this, because I am personally a firm believer in the kind of mental aspect of this ball game, where you want your 9th inning guy, regardless of who's coming up in the order, to be your 9th inning guy. Yeah. So I guess you can classify me as old school. But noticing that tonight, with Kimbrell getting through the heart of the order in the 8th, going to Hendriks in the 9th, we talk about how tough this bullpen is to face. We talk about how they are, on paper, the best bullpen. There's some managerial stuff that has to go on in order to employ this, because as a baseball fan, Craig Kimbrell wants the 9th inning. He wants to be out there to celebrate the victory. In fact, I think guys like Aaron Bummer could probably do that for other teams. Mm-hmm. How important to you is it that the way the White Sox are employing their bullpen strategy right now, how do you feel about it going forward? Because I feel like as a dude, to put your ego aside for where you need, where you want to be or where you could be on a different roster, for Kimbrell to put his ego aside and say, I'm going to handle this 8th inning. Does that mean anything to you?
Oh, it absolutely does. I'd be lying if I said, when we made that trade for Kimbrell, I wasn't nervous about how that was going to play out. I mean, these are professional athletes with some of the biggest egos in the world. I mean, and I didn't know how that was going to play out. And there had to have been some behind the scenes conversation with that front office and Craig Kimbrell, because he has stepped in and filled that role. And like you said, stuffed his ego to the side to go win a World Series. And he's done it with grace, and he's done it with some awesome play. And you don't see it. You don't see any issues on his face. You just don't see any concerns. I love it. I think that closer role has been Liam Hendriks's to lose since they made the move for Kimbrell. And those two play off each other, right? They're tight, but it's a competition at the same time. Liam has stepped his game up since Kimbrell's come over. And I think there's something to be said for that too. Liam's the guy. Liam's the closer right now, and until he loses that job, he's going to stay there.
I agree with you. I think that there was a little bit of a downturn, and it came out of your home state.
Yeah, yep.
It came out of your home state, and again, that's really close to the trade deadline, and there were things that took place before that. But I feel like the lowest point of this year, as far as confidence goes in the bullpen, came during that Yankees series.
Yeah,
and things have started to get better, and that's good news. That's things that we can celebrate on Friday night, Zach, and say, crack them. We got the best bullpen in the league. Tonight was an example of that, and that's exactly where I want to come back, full circle, and say we had everybody from bullpen A squad come out tonight.
Mm-hmm.
The result was good. The White Sox end up winning this game on the backs of some timely offense from Jose Abreu. You scratch a run across, and then you turn it to this bullpen. I don't know the last time, Zach, where I said the bullpen won a ball game for you. And I thought that going into this year, when the pen was mighty, I'd be able to say it a lot more.
Yeah.
And so that's where I'm going to give, if I'm going to give a game ball, I'm going to give it to the bullpen. How about you?
No, I got to give it to the offense, man. I think after this, after the last two series we've had and just the inconsistent hitting tonight. I mean, you look up and down the lineup, Tom, every single one of those guys got on base tonight some way or the other, be it a hit, be it a walk. I mean, even a hit by pitch. I mean, everybody made it on base. Abreu slammed it in when he was needed. Luis Robert, he tapped that RBI in to get to 4-0. I mean, I think that's it. I think you're right. The back end of the bullpen certainly deserves that, but that middle, I mean, it became a lot closer than it should have. So I'm leaning more on the offense. I think what you're saying is valid. I think I would lean more on offense in terms of game ball tonight, but I think there's an argument for both.
Absolutely fair. Well, with that said, Zach, I'm going to just close out tonight. 4-3 victory for your White Sox. Obviously, the magic number goes down. I believe it's at 12.
It is at 12. Cleveland lost.
It feels fantastic. It's coming soon, man. It's coming soon. We're gonna be popping some champagne. Tomorrow's ball game is what I want to get into before we close this Friday night edition of Sox on Tap out. You've got Dylan Cease on the mound for the White Sox. I do not have a listed starter for the Boston Red Sox at this time. Obviously, their rotation is going through some shuffling. Chris Sale was expected to pitch against the White Sox on Sunday. He came down with a case of COVID-19 and is now on the COVID IL. Zach, it's kind of a shame that you're not going to see the Lance Lynn versus Chris Sale matchup. I don't want to get too far into that. Dylan Cease versus TBD tomorrow. I'm going to give the White Sox the edge over TBD.
Yeah, I agree. You're right. At least when we logged on, there was still not a pitcher announced.
There's still not one now. I refreshed it. We logged on like about 2 hours ago.
So I don't know who they're going with. That drawing a blank on his name. They threw a guy last week that it seems maybe up in the rotation.
They were talking about I think who was it? Nick Pivetta.
That could be
potentially.
But no, I don't really care who it is tomorrow. I think Cease is going to come back. I mean, his last outing, what we've seen from him all year, right? Five innings. He worked a little harder his last outing than he had before. I think he was approaching 100 pitches in 5 innings, gave up a home run and a couple hits. But 9 strikeouts again. I think he's going to be back on on his shit. Maybe a little bit of a bounce back from that last one. Tomorrow night's going to be a good one. And I don't know if if JD Martinez, it sounds like he was having back spasms, so he's probably going to be missing another game tomorrow. I think the Sox are in a good position to take this series after 2 games.
I think they are as well. And that's exactly what I would like to see, Zach. I like to see the upper hand applied early in a 3-game series. You win the first 2. It takes a little pressure off you in the third. If game 3 goes the opposite way, it is what it is. Get your wins out of the way early in every single series. I just think that that's a cool and tough mentality. I think that that's what you have to do. Tomorrow, no different. Get out there and hit the ball. I'd like to see a little bit more offensive production from this White Sox squad. Even if it's station to station stuff, but you're in a more hitter friendly ballpark. Luis Robert, put one on the Xfinity Fundamentals deck, please. Why don't you?
He's still doing some things, man, that once in a while you'll watch him take a pitch, take a swing. It's like, what the fuck was that? There was one tonight where he's still reaching so far out of the zone. I mean, it goes back to some of the struggles he had early this season. It's like he needs to settle down. He needs to wait for his pitches. And you're right. He needs to take one deep. It's been far too fucking long.
Yeah. Zach, we do picks to click on this show. Mm-hmm. And if you don't know, I normally go with Gavin Sheets. I'm going to switch it up just a little bit. If Gavin Sheets ain't in the lineup, I'm going Luis Robert. I want one on the Xfinity Fundamentals deck on Saturday night. As Ed Farmer would say, light it up in a big-time moment. So if it's not Gavin Sheets, Luis Robert, who you got?
I'm going to go with Grandal. I mentioned it before. Since coming back in the IL, the guy is absolutely raking. 469, slugging over 1,000. I mean, he's going off. And tonight he was pretty quiet. He took a hit by a pitch, got on base, had a little defensive blunder there. I think he's going to come back tomorrow. I wish I knew who the opposing pitcher was, but with him it doesn't really matter. So I'm going Grandal.
I was going to say it would be really easy to kind of figure out who your pick to click is tomorrow based on whether it's a righty or a lefty. But we don't have that information available to us right now. Again, TBD, one of the hardest things to figure out in baseball if you're trying to scout who you are going to be playing against tomorrow or give a podcast with any sort of good recommendations on who to bet for, might go long. Zach, before we get out of here, we got one pretty big announcement. For OnTap Sportsnet, and that's we're going to be starting a betting show. Zach's going to be hosting it with our guy Joey Ricotta. I hope I'm saying that right, Joey. Joey Ricotta. He does some Cubs stuff. You've got a Sox fan, you've got a Cubs fan. They're going to be talking about betting, golf, football, baseball, all that other stuff over at OnTap Bets. Zach, are you excited to start this show? Because I'm excited to listen to it because I'm hoping you're going to win me some money.
Oh, man, I couldn't be more excited. And, you might be crazy for putting me on my own podcast, but we'll see how it goes. I am super pumped to work with Joey. I mean, if you guys don't know Joey, he's an extremely experienced, extremely knowledgeable gambler. A lot more experience than me. So I'm looking forward to sharing what I'm betting on, but also leaning on Joey a lot too. The guy's sharp. So I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm pumped.
I'm looking forward to it too. Obviously, OnTap Sportsnet has some affiliation with Bet Rivers and at Bet Rivers Casino in Des Plaines. They've got another casino out in Iowa. I don't know if you have been able to frequent that one, Zach, but if you're doing some betting, Bet Rivers, code on
tap.
Promo code on tap. You've got it down already.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for this, Zach, and you and Joey are going to kill it. I'm hoping you win me some money. We've got some tracking. We've got some stats. We've got all that stuff going with our partners over at TallySite, and I can't wait to track which one of you guys is going to come away winning me the most money through the NFL season. You've had some stuff that you've written about golf, so I'm going to tell you on that. I'm just going to tell all you guys and then complain if it doesn't work out. I feel like that's an effective strategy at this point.
Yeah, but our plan is really to try to hit all the sports. I mean, there's certainly going to be some things that Joey and I are more knowledgeable about personally, football being one of them. We're just kicking off the NFL season, so this is the perfect time. Already some awesome college ball that we've been betting on and winning. But we want to talk about other things as well. MMA. Even some
our guy
soccer stuff.
Chi-Town Locks does some excellent work with some MMA stuff. So we'll get him involved as well.
Yep. So we want to bring on some guests over time. Bring in some experts, and it's just a couple of degenerates having fun and sharing the bets we're making, and hopefully giving some value. So I'm excited. Joey's excited. So that's going to be coming real soon. So keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah, no pressure to you guys. I'm just going to tell every bet you guys both make, and we'll figure it out. If it's worth it or not. No, I'm kidding. I'm completely kidding, Zach. I'm excited to listen to you guys make some predictions. I think everything that you have done, especially in the golf realm. We've talked about this. We've texted about it. We're right there. I think that's a hard one to bet on. But some of the early returns for some of you guys, Brandon Suarez involved in this as well. You can find him over at Bears on Tap, Huskies on Tap. He does some Notre Dame work as well. Cody Delmendo, Cody on Tap. He does the Cubs show, and none of you listen to that if you're still listening to this at 47 minutes into Sox on Tap, so you have no fucking clue who he is. Iowa Zach, I think most people who are still tuned in almost 50 minutes and know who Iowa Zach is, because there's no reason to stay here and listen to my voice. You're here for Zach, of course, at this point in time. If you want to follow him, at OnTap Bets, him and Joey Ricotta, I don't know his Twitter handle off the top, but it's something around like Ryan Therio or the Riot, whatever that was back in the day for Cubs fans. I just feel like that's so far gone. He should change his Twitter handle. Joey Bets on Tap. I'm just going to make a request right now. It's going to make it way easier for me to promote this. You could tell him that, Zach. If I were you, I'd be like on my phone right now texting him.
Yeah, we'll work on it.
Change that Twitter handle. Joey Bets on Tap. I'm sure that handle's available. So go follow him. And Zach, it was a pleasure doing this show with you. Friday night, drinking beers, talking White Sox baseball, talking gambling. Give everybody a little bit of a preview. Who you got tomorrow in the college slate?
Oh, dude, I haven't even got my lineup squared up yet.
I'm going to put you on the spot. That's what I'm here for.
Jeez, you're killing me. I'll have to follow.
Give me one lock. Give me one lock.
All right, let me check. See who I have here. Ooh. Oh, are you serious?
Yeah,
Iowa money line.
There we
Iowa
go.
Money line.
There we go.
I don't even know why I went to look at my bet slip there. We have I'll give this plug. There's nothing bigger in the state of Iowa than the Cy-Hawk game, and that's tomorrow at 3:30. So I am a huge Iowa Hawkeye fan. For those that don't know, you have this other team in Iowa. Some people like to follow the Cyclones. Cyclones are still getting 4 points right now. And I'm sorry, but after last week's showing, there's some bias here, but Iowa State, there's a lot of people talking about how Iowa State maybe held back a little bit playing an FCS team. Actually, my alum, University of Northern Iowa, they only won by 7 points, man, against an FCS team. And Iowa absolutely throttled in their matchup. So there's my lock. Iowa, you can take the points if you want, but there's more value on the money line there. Hawkeyes money line.
There you go. Offering some free betting advice. Non-biased at all either.
Not at all.
Non-biased at all either. That's what I love about this show. Zach, pleasure doing this with you. White Sox win 4-3 over the Boston Red Sox. You got another game tomorrow coming your way from the south side. It's going to be great. You got Dylan Cease and TBA. We'll update you as available. Zach, cheers, crack 'em. Hopefully we're talking about another White Sox winner on this show. No post game tomorrow. We'll be back Sunday. Sunday fun day. We're going to get you back on the show again at some point, Zach, before the end of the year because I had fun. It was cowboy hat time all night.
I should have worn mine. I would have been prepared. I drank a lot of whiskey and wore my cowboy hat last night, actually, so I was a night off. But next time we'll coordinate better.
We'll definitely coordinate better. Zach,
it's been a pleasure,
cheers.
Tone. I appreciate it.
We're going to
Cheers.
close it down how we always do. White Sox forever.
White Sox forever.